Welcome to Cross-Strait Chronicles, where history meets humor, and the Taiwan Strait gets a little less confusing. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a fascinating story from across the strait. If you enjoy history without the boredom, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's get started. Segment 1. Setting the Scene. A Giant That Looked Fine. Let's begin in the early 1800s. At this point, the Qing Dynasty was one of the largest empires on Earth. It ruled over hundreds of millions of people, controlled vast territory, and proudly saw itself as the center of civilization. From the outside, everything looked impressive. The emperor sat on the dragon throne. Officials memorized Confucian classics. Taxes were collected. Rituals were performed. In other words, the system worked. Or at least, it looked like it worked. Because beneath the surface, the Qing Empire had a growing problem. It was very good at repeating tradition, and very bad at adapting to change. Segment 2. How the Qing Saw the World. To understand why things went wrong, we need to understand how the Qing viewed the world. The Qing didn't see China as one country among many. They saw it as the civilization. Foreign powers weren't equals, they were tributaries. People who came to China were expected to show respect, follow Qing rules, and accept that the emperor was, spiritually speaking, above everyone else. This world view worked very well, as long as the rest of the world agreed. Spoiler alert, by the 19th century, they didn't. Segment 3. Meanwhile, the world was speedrunning modernity. While the Qing was focused on tradition and stability, Europe was doing something else entirely. Industrialization, steam engines, modern armies, global trade networks. Countries like Britain weren't just trading tea and silver. They were building empires powered by technology and capitalism. And when Britain looked at China, it didn't see a superior civilization. It saw a huge market. This difference in worldview, civilization versus commerce, is where many problems begin. Segment 4. Trade imbalance. The tea problem. Here's a fun fact. Europe loved Chinese products: tea, silk, porcelain. China, however, did not love European products. The Qing didn't want British wool. They didn't want British machines. They mostly wanted silver. Lots and lots of silver. This created a serious trade imbalance. Britain was losing silver fast, and it really didn't like that. So Britain asked a very logical question. What if we sold something the Chinese couldn't stop buying? That something was opium. Yes, we'll talk more about that next episode. But for now, remember this. The Qing was confident. The world was changing, and neither side fully understood the other. That's a dangerous combination. Segment 5. Internal problems nobody wanted to fix. Here's the part that often gets overlooked. The Qing didn't just face external pressure. It also had serious internal problems. Population growth exploded. Land became scarce. Corruption increased. The bureaucracy was massive, but decision-making was slow. Officials were selected for their ability to memorize texts, not manage crises or understand modern economics. Again, the system looked stable, but it was under strain.
Imagine running a modern country using a rule book written centuries ago. That's basically what the Qing was doing.
Segment 6. Stability over change. The Qing rulers weren't stupid. They knew reforms were risky. Change could lead to chaos. Chaos could lead to rebellion. And rebellion could end dynasties. So the Qing chose stability. They believed that maintaining order was more important than experimenting with unfamiliar ideas. Unfortunately, the world didn't wait. Segment 7. A powerful empire on a timer. So by the early 1800s, the Qing Empire was large, powerful, confident, traditional, but also slow to adapt, unprepared for industrial powers, internally strained, increasingly isolated. This doesn't mean collapse was inevitable, but it does mean the cracks were already there, and once pressure started pushing on those cracks, things would fall apart very quickly. In the next episode, we'll talk about the moment when these tensions finally exploded, when trade turned into war, when misunderstanding turned into violence, and when the Qing realized the world outside China had changed forever. Before we go, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Qing dynasty could have survived if it had reformed earlier? Or was collapse unavoidable? Put your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. If this video helped make Cross-Strait history a little less confusing, consider giving it a like and subscribing. History is complicated, but learning it doesn't have to be. Next episode, the Opium War. How trade turned into disaster. I'll see you in the next episode.